Hello, lovely people. It is Victoria. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. I was not anticipating making a drama type video. I've been calling it commentary, but it's like commentary slash drama. It depends on what I'm talking about. It's like a YouTube drama type video, kind of soon after my Rosanna Pansino and Tana Mojo video. But again, I just discovered this and it just struck a chord with me. It made me so mad. I was literally yelling just to myself last night watching this on my phone. I was like a little drunk, so that may not have helped. We're talking about Shane Dawson. First, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting for the engagement. I am trying to get in the habit of saying that at the beginning of my videos. And I'm trying to make videos more consistently as of recently. I've been good with filming them. I have a couple that I need to actually edit, and they're like talking videos and covers as well. So I just need to do that. But we're talking about Shane Dawson today. I used to be a really big fan of him for literally like 4 months. It was a couple years ago, like 2018-ish, like right before he did his Jake Paul. Well, like right before he did his TanaCon series, and then the Jake Paul series kind of really solidified it. But I didn't like the way he handled TanaCon. But yeah, for the time when I was a fan of him, I really thought he was just like so good. But I also, even after I didn't like him as much, I still really liked his conspiracy videos, even though a lot of them aren't conspiracies. It's literally just like corporations want to manipulate you into buying things. And it's like, yeah, it's like fork found in kitchen. But yeah, overall, I am over him. And I did not know about basically any of this when I was a fan of him. But a quick recap before we get into the recent shit that happened with the Disneyland video. Quick recap of why I don't like him, like the bullet points. So the inappropriate jokes about children, the blackface, the racism, his horrible disrespectful behavior towards people in basically every way, from like the way he behaves on the show The Chair, and he like speaks to the people he was working on this movie with, which like he produced arguably like the worst movie ever made. I haven't watched it and I don't want to ever watch it, but like from what I've heard, it just sounds like absolutely like just an insult to humanity. But he was like horrible to the people on that set. And then his documentary, when he releases his makeup line with Jeffree Star, the way that like there were like technical difficulties and stuff, and he's just like, well, fix it, like this shit, and just everyone's like, cool, like this is not helpful at all. But he plays it off with this like shucksy nice guy vibe that gets to be just really, really irritating and really tired. Also, fun fact, I feel like my birthday is kind of out there already, so it's fine. Shane Dawson and I are birthday twins. He is exactly 10 years older than me. The super disingenuous apologies, the self-victimizing, every time he gets called out for stuff, he would just be like, every 2 years, people decide they don't like me, and then it goes away, and then it happens again 2 years later. It's like so dismissive of it. There was the time he jokingly talked about sexually assaulting his cat, allegedly, and another where he jokingly talked about basically like brutally torturing a woman to death and like fantasizing about that, essentially. And where he jokingly talked about Googling naked baby and finding a 6-year-old sexy. And basically the outrage to that, I think, was, again, just like the 2 years, every 2 years people decide they don't like me. Then he would just write it off as like the humor of the time and say that people liked it or his audience liked it. And then with the docuseries that he would make about problematic people, that included Jeffree Star, which brings us to his continued association with him. So at the point that shit converged with like Sistergeddon, Karmageddon, like right before Karmageddon, the build up and stuff, like the Bi Sister event, we could do a whole other video about Bi Sister, and I honestly think I will, because we're coming up on the 6-year anniversary. And that shit, like, dominated my life when it happened. Like, I was so consumed with it. It was a moment on the internet. But basically, like, they did the conspiracy collection and this docuseries. He always calls them docuseries. They're not fucking docuseries. They're vlog collages, essentially. But he made this docuseries and advertised it as, like, the truth about the beauty community. And said that he was gonna, like, talk about Bi Sister. and included that in the trailer. So that had already happened at least 6 months prior, because I don't know exactly when this series came out, but the makeup came out in November of 2019. Bicester had happened in May of 2019. I know that. And then Karmageddon happened in like June of 2020. So I think the series came out like right after the makeup came out. So let's say like winter of 2019. I feel like that's fair to say. But they advertised it like this, and they ended up just shilling their makeup. Like the truth about the beauty community was just like, let's make a makeup line. According to the stuff that little anecdotes, like facts about the beauty community that were, or not even beauty community, but like the industry, that were just meant to make Jeffree's makeup line sound better, of just like, oh, how much does it cost to make a normal palette? How much do your palettes cost? And just like, we just put the time and money and like investment into the quality of the product, like just patting himself on the back. And it's just like, okay. And then I think like the series ended up being like, I think it was honestly like 8 parts. It felt like 97 parts. And he eventually like smacked a reaction to Bicester at the very end, because I think enough people had been calling him out on not delivering on what he had advertised the series as containing. So I'm pretty sure the timeline of that was Tati posted breaking my silence and said that Shane and Jeffree manipulated her into making the Bicester video. Then immediately afterwards, Shane has like such a famously bad crash out on Instagram Live. I was not there for it when it happened, but like, damn, I look back on it and I'm like, fuck. He was like losing his mind. And to me, it always seemed like he knew exactly when to end it. Like when she started talking about the comment that he made about James Charles being a narcissist and like we don't have to worry about him hurting himself, she was getting into that when he stopped the live. And to me, that like meant that he knew what she was talking about. Could have been a coincidence, but to me, that's always read as weird. Because Rylan was telling him to get off. Like that's like the iconic like get off, get off. Then he made the welcome to the circus statement, and then it was the holding myself accountable video. So he made the welcome to the circus statement, and then he said that he knew she was thinking about making a video, but he was not involved in the video. Basically went on this just like bizarre, he was like saying that the beauty community was like super toxic, while also associating with like the most toxic common denominator in like the majority of YouTube beauty drama. And it's just like, oh, that's just the way he is. And also gives the pretty iconic line of, iconic is like, okay, an irreverent way to say it, because this was kind of fucked up, but saying that a then 19-year-old James Charles deserved a slice of humble pie the size of the Empire State Building. And he made the taking accountability video, and he would apologize for this comment and also apologize for like his past racist content and say like it's something he should have lost his career for. But then as soon as he started significantly losing views, he was like, but wait, like watch my content. Like it's as if he doesn't actually give a fuck. And he mentioned that he was influenced by Jenna Marbles to make this video because she had just made her final video before she left YouTube, which is often regarded as like the best apology video in the history of the platform. And then also later on in his later videos, he was like, had this bit where he was reading this list of rules in his house, and one of them was we forgive quickly, and then was like, how about you guys get to that? So again, showing that like he just wants to move on. He doesn't care about actually taking accountability, unlike someone like Jenna Marbles that actually like took herself off the platform. But he cannot get away from the attention and the views, like he needs it. So that's kind of the rundown up till now of like why I don't like him. And occasionally I will watch his videos through commentary, like mainly Fat Sajak. I tend to watch his videos through her content because her commentary is really funny. But is it just me, or like his humor has gotten so fucking stupid over the years? Like just vulgar and brain dead. Like no actual, I feel like there's just like no substance to anything, and everything is just like trying to appeal to like the most chronically online 12-year-olds. Like everything is so dumbed down. And I'm like, did this get worse over the years, or have I just actually gotten taste? I don't know. And the last thing, actually, up until now, another giant problem I have with him that like I don't think he gets called out enough for is that he never credits the people whose content he uses. He always uses clips of people's content and he never credits them. He'll use so many different people's content, and it's just literally like content theft. He'll literally just use it and get millions of views and make money off of other, like so heavily featuring other people's content. He's always done that. He'll just do a lot of like intermittent snippets of people talking about the thing that he's like looking into. It's a big thing in his editing style, but he never credits the content or like the stock footage, anything. Like, take a page out of Sophia Nygaard's playbook, please, and cite your sources. You want to be seen as this like documentarian journalist person. I don't know if he still does, but he did at one point. They cite their sources. They disclose where they get their stock footage, as far as I know. So all of that leads up to the Disneyland video. And side note, like, I don't care if this is mean, frankly, but just because he had his brother with him, he was in the group of people that were at Disneyland, and they were investigating these different conspiracy theories related to Disneyland, like mainly that he had seen on TikTok. Maybe this is harsh, but like, I personally find his brother disgusting. That's just me. Like, back when I was like 18, 19, I thought he was kind of cool in that video where they were talking about the flat earth theory. And I was like actually giving some credit to that theory for a second. That was like just funny. And I thought he sounded like, oh, like woke and like red pilled and whatever. But in this video, like, his brother is just gross. I'm like, and the fact that he wore a sweatshirt with the word grower in giant red bold capital letters to Disneyland is fucking disgusting. That's just like tacky and embarrassing. He just gives major neckbeard energy at all times. So the first thing that they look into is this brick theory. Like, there was some secret message inside of a brick that was like loose. It was on Main Street near this certain statue. And they got to this brick and they were saying it was loose. But then they pull out this tool and they start literally like trying to hack it out of the ground. And the TikTok that they used, that I imagine they didn't even credit the creator of, the person in the TikTok was like, make sure you keep it on the DL, okay? So this is like a secret, like a Disney secret. So meaning like, don't do this during peak hours. And literally was just being like a public nuisance. He was blocking half the walkway. This giant group was congregating around this brick that they're trying to force out of the ground in broad daylight, probably on like a Saturday or something. It was just so inconsiderate. And then this employee comes over and tells them that they can't do that. And he's like a whiny little baby about it. He's like, oh, I thought you could do that. And they're like, no, you can't like destroy our property. What the fuck? And then they keep her name and her name tag and her face and everything in the video. Apparently some people would say later that I guess his fans were harassing this employee. That's pathetic. But then some people were saying they couldn't find evidence of that. If that's true, that's crazy. But like, you should know what you're doing, like having people's faces in your video. Like, bitch, you've been on YouTube for over 15 years. Like, come on. And then was like saying in some, I don't know if it was on the YouTube video or Instagram or something, insinuating that like she was part of the conspiracy and she was in on it and she's hiding and covering it up. Because she was saying that like, I can confirm that this isn't true. And they were just like, she's hiding something. So then they go around testing the water and these different theories about the quality of the water. And they have this reader tool with them. But they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what these readings mean. They don't even disclose what it is they're measuring. They're just like, oh, 300 is bad. 300 is like, oh my God, call the police. It's like over 300 is just bad. But like, they don't say what the fuck, like 300 what? What 300 parts per million of a compound? What compound? You don't know. You don't say any, like, what are you talking about? They don't say that at all. Like, they never, as far as I know from the stuff that I saw in Fat Sagex video, they never actually say like what's being measured. And then this plumber commented on the original video and was like, hey, I have that exact tool and y'all were reading it completely wrong. Like, y'all were testing the hardness of the water, not the quality. So just so you know. But they didn't, like, they had no idea what they were talking about. But they were just like, oh my God, don't drink the water. It's over 300. And then it's like, oh wait, 300's fine. Oh, it's fine. It's just like, meh. Like, it's just so fucking mindless. And then there was the hug conspiracy thing. And this part, like, also just really upset me. So apparently there's this rule at Disneyland that, like, when kids hug the character actors, the actors are not allowed to let go until the child lets go, which is a really sweet rule, I'd say, I think. And then, of course, they have to take this and make it as fucking just stupid as possible. And are just like, what if we tested that out for adults and just had someone hug someone, like, until they get threatened with getting kicked out? Or I don't even know. So they had Chris do it to this actor dressed as Mickey Mouse. And I couldn't watch it all the way through, to be honest with you. But, like, the actor, personally, I think they handled it really beautifully. They handled it in a really sweet way. They were like hugging his back And it was just like an emotional moment. But then Chris comes off and then everyone is a fucking 10-year-old about it. And he's like, did you get a boner? Oh my God, that was so uncomfortable to watch. And like he is just, everyone around him just seems like so allergic to emotional maturity. It is astounding. And then someone commented, I'm going to actually like pull up the comment and read it to you because this was on the Fat Sajak video, and I want to credit the person because this was a really good point. Because Disney and Disneyland is like, I feel like that's a very vulnerable thing for some people. Like, I feel like that's something that like somewhere every kid wants to go growing up, and like not everyone can go. That's a very like sought after place, and it can represent a lot of emotion and childhood and innocence. It can mean a lot of things for people. So Peter Parker Poe 8FB said, kind of off topic, but the Disney characters allowing the adults a long hug is actually so sweet, and I hate them being weird about it for a half-baked theory. Imagine you're someone who's wanted to go to Disneyland your entire life, and finally as an adult you're able to get there. You go and hug your favorite Disney character, and maybe you're anxious or emotional, or so you're there for a bit longer than usual, and Mickey's just giving you a comforting back pat while you're having your moment. I don't know, as someone, an adult now, who's always wanted to visit Disneyland or Disney World, but has always been too poor to travel, and to this day isn't sure they'll ever get to, which is fine at this point, but still a little sad. That part just seemed really sweet. And that really like upset me. And it's just, again, this allergy to emotional maturity. And you're also, at the end, he has this like call to action where he's like, so the takeaway is that Disney actors will hug you as long as you want. Basically like giving this call to action to people to go harass these people that are just trying to do their job. I imagine, I don't know this for sure, but I imagine when it comes to adults giving really long hugs, it's probably like a personal preference thing of just like, if you feel comfortable. And you're taking someone who's being understanding of this thing that like that could have been someone having like a real vulnerable moment. And you're taking someone who's doing their job well and being understanding to the fact that this person could be having an emotional, sensitive moment, and you just make it a joke, and you send out a call to action for other people to treat it like a joke, and to go harass people that are trying to do their job and just like make this fucking like, I don't know, just this, oh, like this fucking theory, and just like be a fuckhead. Like, just, can we just not? Like, ugh. So, like, in my opinion, literally everything about this video was inconsiderate. There was nothing I enjoyed about it except for that person, the character actor, and also just all the employees that were doing their job and were doing a great job. But just the fucking mind-melting stupidity is just, like, intolerable. So I could only handle this in small doses. So overall, there was like the gross neckbeard energy, the chronic allergy to emotional maturity, harassing people who are doing their job, setting a precedent for other people to do the same thing, therefore potentially ruining a similar moment for someone who's actually genuine and earnest, and including the name and face of an employee that was doing their job again and apparently therefore encouraging your fans, giving them ammo to harass that employee. Meanwhile, you can't even be bothered to share the names of the people whose content you regularly steal. So that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know how much I want to continue talking about drama. I guess I'll just kind of do it whenever something like this comes up that like I care about. But I do want to be careful about like things that make me mad, and just the mindset and that the information diet I consume gets me into. So I want to be careful of that. But overall, I hope y'all enjoyed. Please consider liking and subscribing and commenting, and I will see you next time. Upload schedule is still kind of up in the air, but we're just basically doing videos when we can. And I've been kind of on a roll lately, so we're going to see what happens. So have a lovely day. Bye.